Welcome, my beautiful souls. I am Sandy, the Rambling Psychic, and this reading is for the Scorpio who is exhausted. Not not like physically, but spiritually. What's coming through in this, and one of the reasons why I'm doing this reading, I could feel it. I can feel your energy. Um, So what's coming through in this is that you are shedding a version of yourself that was built in pain. And this version is complete. This reading isn't here to tell you to be patient. It's here to tell you the truth. So stay with me, Scorpio, because what's ending now is making room for a power that you've never accessed before. Let me say that again. What you're making room for right now is a power that you have not accessed before. And I'm telling you, it's going to be powerful. So let's go to the cards and to our spirit guides. We will give Mother Mary the honor of opening up your reading. We'll use the crystal vision to clarify and go deeper. And today, I felt guided to do the Celtic cross for you. Um, so that's what I'm going to do. That's what we're going to do. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the lid down just a little bit. By the way, that picture over there, some people are like, who is that? That's my son. Um, it was a gift that Sam got me for Christmas. And he's part of our readings anyway. All right. All right. So I'm just going to take a moment, just calm my own energy. Connect to Scorpio. By the way, if you found yourself here and you're not a Scorpio, trust, especially if you felt nudged, like your spirit team nudged you here. Trust that there's messages here for you, because I know it's more than Scorpio is feeling this spiritually exhaustion, spiritual exhaustion. So, okay, Scorpio, let's begin. Mercy. Yeah, I shouldn't laugh because I feel like that's what some of you are asking for. Like, please, divine, give me mercy. Mercy. I am kind and thoughtful towards myself and others. I feel like what this is saying is give yourself the same mercy that you easily give others. Mercy. And all of a sudden, like I have goosebumps, and I know it's your spiritual team. They're recognizing what you're going through. But again, it is the shedding of that old skin that was built in pain. Okay, we'll put Mother Mary right there, give her a beautiful little crystal. I sound like, what's his name, that painter? Oh, painting a beautiful little tree. Ross, Bob Ross. Okay. I forgot my coffee was out. Let me get rid of it. Wow. I just realized I have a feeling, I don't know why, but I do feel this. I have a feeling some of you connect with butterflies. And I feel, as soon as I said that, I feel like the connection is to a loved one. So someone who's crossed over, but is part of your spiritual team, a big part. All right. I'm going to go ahead and give these a shuffle, and everything's always pre-shuffled. That is really where I am picking up the messages. Um, I ask my guides, who needs special attention right now? I have to say, your name comes up often, but I feel like it's because you're water and you easily give to others. Hmm. I'm going to take those. But I feel like you easily give to others. And, well, just like the card said for Mother Mary, don't forget about yourself. Don't leave yourself out of the equation. All right. So, what we're going to do is the Celtic cross. We start with present, and then we're going to put a card over it, and that is what crosses it. So, it's either benefiting, helping in some way, or the opposite. Next card is what I call the grounding card. But it can be like subconscious elements in play. Because, well, not yet, but the next card is your past, and then sub are conscious, what you consciously are aware of. And then we're going to go to your near future. And then this is all about you. I'm going to slide these over. Make sure you can see everything. So and then this is external noise, though it can also be external help or something that's out there that you may not know about yet. Next is your hopes and your fears, or, or, and then last but not least is what we call the final outcome. Now, that final outcome can be changed. That's one of the reasons why I love tarot, because it reveals so much, especially when you read it through your guides. It reveals so much that it does help you change a potential outcome, but in your favor. Okay, so I feel like I just needed one more sip of coffee. And let's begin. All right, and I like putting them face down because I like the mystery of uncovering. All right, interesting. We have the Four of Pentacles in the present moment energy, grounding, grounding. I feel that, like the need to ground oneself. Um, Sometimes it's just literally putting the feet on the floor and feeling the floor and the support of the floor. But I also want to say an easy way to ground is take your shoes and socks off and go stand in the grass. And one more thing that's coming to mind, and it's interesting. I don't know where I learned this. It's just one of those things that you know that you know. Um, but if let's say you're really down, if you in the morning spend like 5 to 10 minutes looking at the sun, and literally you want to look at the sun, it won't burn your eyes or your retina in that short amount of time. But what it does is it resets the brain. So I don't know. I just know there's many ways of grounding yourself. Water is what I just heard. And if you don't live by water, a shower, a bath, taking baths, but not for the sake of like cleaning, more of like relaxing. Okay, well, so let's see what crosses it. Interesting. Another 4. 44. 44. That may ring a bell for some of you. It's funny. I just did I think it was a past life reading, and it ended in 44. So that may be a sign. But let's talk about the 4 of Cups. This is what this is. 4 of Cups can talk about discontentment, boredom within your emotional world, like dissatisfaction, can be lonely. This person is kind of focusing on a lot that didn't go right. Again, remember, you are shedding your skin here. So, really, the 4 of Cups is about a cup that's coming in. And we can see it right here. It's like coming from the hand of divine. And this message is really about using your spiritual discernment, whether you want that cup or not. But listen, it's coming from the hand of divine, so I don't feel like it's anything you need to fear. And it doesn't have to be love. A cup can bring us in emotional satisfaction, can bring in something that brings pure joy to us. Boy, I hope that's the case. I feel like you need it. Like you need joy. Yes. And I can hear my guys like, yes, that's what they need, joy. All right. Let's see. Interesting. What's grounding this reading? Your major arcana. Transformation. This is something that you really do have to become comfortable with because you are the closer of old chapters. You are the one who opens up the next chapter. Transformation is your middle name. And it doesn't mean, well, let's just put it this way. I feel like for some of you, what you've been learning through this lifetime is how to close chapters, is to know when something is done. But I want you to remember, with the death card, the closing of that chapter, the closing of the door, a new door always opens. And don't fear the death card. Some people, they see a death card in a reading, they're like, transformation. It's a beautiful thing. And how beautiful that it's in the position of what's rooting this reading. You. Okay. We're going to go to the past. We're going to go to the past. Well, the Knight of Pentacles. Okay. Right off the bat, I know. And it's funny because I think I said something about, I'm not here to tell you to be patient. Yet the Knight of Pentacles does ask for patience. But here's why. This knight, which I often feel is a guardian angel, brings in a pentacle. He's holding it. And this pentacle is truly meant to enhance your life, give you the way. So it arrives just the right time. And I feel like what it's saying is the past was not its right time. But it does mean that this pentacle is coming in. And by the way, the pentacle the knight brings, because it's carried by your guardian angel, it is meant to truly enhance your life. And that's where the patience comes in. And I keep saying patience. I don't think that's the right word. Because this knight simply would say, I come at the right time. I come at the right time. And who knows, you have a pentacle and a cup heading your way. All right, well, let's go to the conscious, or, what you know on a conscious level. Strength card. Interesting. Interesting. So, first of all, this is Leo's major arcana. It's funny because there's my son, there's my daughter. My son over there, there's my daughter. But anyway, Strength card is really about the inner you. It is finding that emotional clarity and emotional balance within. It can talk about, things that you were tempted to. It's usually like energy of, I want to say the dark, but when I say that, I don't mean I mean shadow, I guess. The things that tend to keep us off balance. And I feel like this is saying, especially with the death card here, mirroring it, because 8 is about a new beginning, but 8 is also the number of infinity. You have guardian angel energy here. You have a cup coming in from divine. I feel like what it's saying is the more grounded you feel, the more you're going to notice and appreciate. Well, I feel like you're going to appreciate it no matter what, but being grounded may be a part of the right time. So let's go into your near future. The Hangman. Interesting. Hang on, you move too fast. Hangman, seeking spiritual wisdom to use on this earthly plane. Certainly can be a pause in the action. I feel like that's the case for some of you. And it can talk emotionally. But that doesn't really matter. I feel like the message is that your team hears you. Your team, they hear you. They know what it is you're seeking. And I feel like what you're seeking is going to find you. It may look a little different, but don't let that be fear, because it will only be better. I would say keep your mind open, keep your intuition open, because the signs will certainly give you a clue. You know what it feels like to me? It feels like a spiritual blessing because of the inner work that you have done. It's like spirit is recognizing that. They know what you've been through. They know the things that you had to overcome. And you have a lot of energy that speaks of new beginnings. Maybe a new beginning in love. Who knows? And I'm like I say, who knows? But I know. Um, what I'm trying to say is I don't want to put like all your eggs in one basket, because I feel like it's going to be a few different things. Okay. It's like the Knight of Pentacles is speaking to the Hangman, saying, I'm coming. I'm coming. It just has to be the right time. Why does that have to be the right time? Because otherwise, what I bring, let's call it a seed, you're either going to nurture it and it will blossom, or you're going to just let it dry up and die. And the knight's like, I don't want you to do that. And that's why the timing has to be right. Kind of feels like a spiritual blessing for, let's just call it shadow work that you've done. All right, let's move into you. We have the Knight of Swords. Look at him. He's like in a rush. Communication. Hmm. Interesting. Because part of me feels like this is coming in for you or towards you. And it feels like some type of communication that's coming quickly. And I get this sense that if this is a person, I know what I want to say. Boy, I get the feeling also that someone practiced like what they wanted to say, like in the mirror. This could be someone expressing emotions towards you. Okay, well, let's look at the external. See if I can pick it up. King of Swords. So this can be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, but it does not have to be. This king in the upright is integrity, truth, someone who speaks the truth and really demands the truth back. I'm honestly, yes, it can be an air sign for some of you, but I am honestly not even thinking that. I'm just thinking of this type of person because who sends out the knights? The king or the queen? And here is the king attached right to the knight. I feel like this is also saying if this is someone coming in speaking their piece, so to speak, it is truthful. It carries integrity. I feel it. All right, let's look at your hopes or your fears. I hope it's your hopes. Knight of Wands, passion. It's funny because I feel like I want it, but it scares me. But I want it, but it does scare me. But I want it anyway. I feel like there's a little back and forth. I want it, but holy shit, what if it actually comes in? This passion, let me put it a different way. I feel like a knight will always complete their mission. Whether we accept it or not, it's up to us. That's free will. So I feel like passion is heading in your direction and some type of truth, some type of communication. But this may be what you were also wishing for. Like, I just want to feel passion. Oh, hang on to your hat, baby. All right, and let's look at the final outcome, though we are far from done. The Hermit. I kind of love that. The Hermit, the representation of the year just gone by. Everything you have learned, everything you have shed, the wisdom you have gained. This is a reminder that you're an old soul, and sometimes old souls carry old pains. It's interesting because I've been doing what I call spiritual horoscopes or past life readings, and these are just audio. Um, why am I? Oh, because I just did someone who was a Scorpio, and this was a big part of it. So it's higher self wisdom. It's wisdom from all your lifetimes. It's wisdom from above. But now you carry it in this life. This beacon of light, it's like you shining it outwardly. Scorpio, I feel like you are one of the best healers. And I feel like people come to you for advice, even if you don't want to give it. You're just that type. And it's a compliment because people trust you. Well, the right people should trust you. I can't say everyone trusts you, but if they don't, I have a feeling, well, that may be their own issue. All right, I'm going to look at the bottom of the deck. Six of Swords. Okay, I like that. Six of Swords really talks about moving on. And what are you moving on from? Five of Swords. Toxicity. Limited thoughts. You know what I mean? Like negative self-talk. I can't. I won't. Oh, I can. And I will. Just watch me. Hello, lovers. Interesting. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the crystal vision over. I don't know if I'm going to clarify every card. That's the one thing about this reading. It is very quick. Um, and I feel like it's already given us like the message. But I feel like now we want to go a little deeper. Okay. I did not like that shuffle. That was like very resistant. So one more. Much better. All right, let's give them a cut. And we will start at the present moment. See what that cup is. It's interesting because it feels like with the Four of Pentacles first. And, I do want to say the one thing with the Four of Pentacles, it does speak about a foundation, your foundation. But then also anything you begin thinking about, like, I want to start it on a strong foundation, love, business, whatever it may be. And then the Four of Cups comes out. So it's like you grounded first, and then this cup shows. Okay, so I'm going to look at those two fours. Again, 44. We have the Queen of Wands. I feel like that's you. It's a part of you. And I feel like this is the part of you that is much less unencumbered. This is the part of you that used to take chances, that followed your passion. Like if you felt it, you followed it. You didn't let fear get in the way. And I feel like that part of you is coming back out again. Like your higher self is saying, step out of the way. Let me in control now. Temperance. Wow. Divine timing. Temperance does have a message of patience first. But this reading is not about patience. So this must be energy that is opening up because that's what your spirit guide said. This is not about being patient. So I have a feeling one of the reasons I'm doing this reading right now is because changes may be finding you sooner versus later. This is about trusting in divine timing, as is the Knight of Pentacles, but the Knight of Pentacles is more about like, I'll just be there at the right time, or what you need will be there at the right time. So, divine, involved within your grounding, but also within this cup. And I often feel that Temperance is mixing the loving waters of two cups, and you're receiving a cup. So, for some of you, it kind of relates to a soulmate. Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, hello, 3 4s now. And that has to be an angel message. And you know what it tells me right off the bat? That you're in the right place. Well, let me say that differently. You're right on time. Because some of you, I said you're in the right place, and then I felt like, well, some of you may not be happy with where you're at right now. But that may change. So we get the marriage card that's connected to temperance. Wow. Does it have to mean marriage? No. To me, it is, well, first of all, I feel like it's true love. It's true commitment. And there is so much truth that's coming your way. And can I just say, I feel like at this point, that if someone were to come in and tell you a bunch of lies, that's where the hermit comes in. You're going to know it. You're going to call bullshit. You're not telling me the truth. I don't feel like that is going to happen. What I want to point out, though, is your growth. Like, truly, your growth. So, anyways, how we got off of this, I don't know. Holy cow. And the hangman's making more and more sense. If you're looking for true love, then this is telling you or asking you to think about, do you feel grounded? Do you feel solid within your own life? It doesn't have to mean everything's going my way, because chances are it's not. But I have a feeling it's going to turn around. And being grounded is going to be a big part of that. But not just that, because I just heard also your spiritual wisdom is also your illuminator. This tells me this person is going to have, or they're going to be connected to their spirituality. So this is someone who's also done, let's just say, shadow work. They may not give it that title. They may not talk in spiritual lingo. I have a feeling it won't be long until they do. This is someone, you just look at the image, it's like they're putting you up on a pedestal, right where you belong. I hope my daughter doesn't get mad that I share this, but she told me about someone that she really cares about. She said to them, if we get together, you will be my king and I will be your queen. And she meant it as like I'll make sure the king is fulfilled. Because I remember saying to her, don't make sure the queen is also fulfilled. She knows that. But anyway, I don't know why I'm thinking of that right now. Queen of Wands makes a lot of sense right now because you probably are going to have to take a chance. I feel like the passion It's going to be undeniable. And I also want to add that, I think your guide is saying this reading is not just about love. It's about you. It's about your growth. It's about what you've overcome. It's like we know you've had a hard life. We know that right now you're feeling exhausted. We know that. But we're telling you that everything you've been through, you're going to understand. Like it's going to reveal itself, especially in your growth. All of a sudden my eye is pointed up to this 8, but for the reason of the remembrance that it's also the number of infinity, as above, so below, no beginning, no end. Could this be also past lives? Could be. I have to say, I finally did that past life reading, and oh my God, did I love it. I loved it. I don't know about everybody else, but I think those who watched it loved it also. Just grabbing a cup of my coffee. Okay. I don't know what more we could ask for right there. And I'm thinking of the death card. Again, that closing of a door, transformation. But again, something, if something is coming to an end or something, is at its end, it's letting it end. Again, an energy that you really want to learn to be comfortable with because of all the signs. You're the sign that really learns to complete and helps others to do the same, by the way. It's almost like that's your soul's gift to us. All right. I don't even want to take him away. I think I'm going to leave him out for a minute. And by the way, this is all falling in your present moment energy. Um, let's look at the Knight of Pentacles. Oh my gosh. Look at that. The 5 and the 6 of Swords came out together. But just the order that they came out also. You have the 6 of Swords on the bottom of the Universal Tarot. And now we're looking at the Knight of Pentacles. What was the Knight waiting for? What does this Knight consider the right time? Now it's clear. No longer dealing with toxic energy, whether it's coming from people, your thoughts, whatever it may be. This is you moving on. And I even like how she's putting the swords down. Like, I'm not carrying these swords along with me. I feel like your spirit guides are talking directly to you. That makes the timing right. And that makes complete sense. All right. I don't want to keep everything out. I guess we're going to pick these up. Though I don't want to, because I want you to look at them one more time. Temperance, divine, true love, true connection. Queen of Wands, the willingness to take that chance, to take that leap. Again, this queen, if it stirs her passion, she's going to follow it. But she's not a page, she's a queen. The page is where I feel like I also feel as well, I call the page of wands my risk taker. But I feel like the page is learning, then like not everything is going to pay off. But that's okay, right? Because everything teaches me something. And then the page gets back up again. It's like getting back up on that horse again. But you're being represented by a queen. So I feel like you've gone through a lot of those stages. And to me, it's like a sign of being ready. Okay. Um, it's funny. I always say I'm not going to clarify every card and then I clarify every card. But that's my own curiosity. When Tarot found me, what a lucky girl I was. Because I truly love reading for all of you. But let me tell you, our spirit guides, boy, did they step forward for us. All right, so we're looking at your major arcana. That is mirroring the strength card. So really subconscious, conscious, if you want to look at it that way. Look at that. Look at that. Right over you now. Dum 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 dum. Boom. Wow. The door you closed. Energetically or actually makes the timing perfect. The right timing. This night, I love this night. This night tells you don't have to worry about where I bring this ace. It will find you right where you're at. And if it's connected to another, then you will just be at the right place at the right time. I often use the same story, but it makes sense. Um, I remember like when I did have another job, by the way. The first half of my life was managing fitness centers and spas until it was no more. But why am I telling you that? I don't know. I don't even know why I brought that up. Okay. I don't know why I brought that up. It's like the knight is saying to me, do not overclarify me. Okay. So I'm not. I'm going to go up to the strength card. Look at that. The Nine of Swords just flipped itself around. I love it. But also, the Ace of Wands flipped itself around. Inspired action. Okay. So I don't feel like the Ace of Wands, even though it's in reverse, I don't feel like it's going to stay in reverse. I do feel like it's going to turn around. And I feel like this ace is in reverse because it was important. I'm going to say that you did this shadow work, but really what I want to say is that you know all sides of yourself and know your worth. Nine of Swords in reverse. I love that. That tells me at one time there was a lot of worry, probably a lot of things outside of your control. And the one thing we do have to learn, or I should say, definitely helps us in life if we learn not to put a lot of worry around the things that we have no control over. But the one thing we do have control over is ourselves. And it is like another symbol of this night coming at the right time. By the way, the 2 nights, if this has anything to do with love also, which I do feel it does, it may be two guardian angels guiding two people together. So this inspired, or let's say, the Ace of Wands is really passion ignited. It probably wasn't its time. It was important. Some of you may be alone, and it may have been important to be comfortable with that. I feel like that might have been a little bit of a lesson, you know, and I feel like what Spirit's trying to say is you can thrive all on your own. You truly can thrive all on your own. But that doesn't mean that your guides don't want you to have love. They do, but of a high vibration. Like enough with the lower vibration, right? You left it. We saw it twice. And some of you may be still in this energy, making that decision. Do I stay or do I go? But it doesn't even have to be a physical move. It's literally saying, I'm not taking people's bullshit anymore. I'm not taking it on. Or even my own limited thoughts. I'm not going to tell myself that I can't or I won't. I'm going to tell myself that all is possible. And then just put that into the universe and let it be. Okay. I'm going to look at the hangman. I am like so happy with what you're getting because I feel like your soul needed this reading. And I feel like, if nothing else, this is telling you better days are ahead. Especially with the Hermit here, some of you may have felt like a shadow was following you. Well, now I feel like the sun's gonna come out. The sun will come out tomorrow. I would flip out if this is the sun, but how about the moon? Interesting. So the moon can certainly talk about uncertainties. I often think with the moon, we can only see as far as the moon allows us to see. But with the full moon, we can see pretty far. But maybe we're only meant to see so far. This is also very dreamy energy. It is the card of Pisces, ruler of Cancer. But again, when the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. Hmm. All right, I'm just looking. Is there anything else before I move on? No, let's move on. So I'm coming down and I'm looking at you. I want to know who this knight is, if spirit will allow. I'd like as much detail as possible. It's funny because as soon as I said that, my eye was guided towards the moon. And the moon, again, I can only see as far as the moonlight allows me to see. But then that I added, but maybe that's all as far as I'm meant to see. And I don't know if I've ever said that relating to the moon before, but I just said it. So anyway, whatever we can know. Well, how about the King of Wands? Interesting, because we had the Queen of Wands. Now we have the King of Wands. So this can be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Here's what I want you to notice though. Like, forget the sign for a second. And notice how, I was going to say, it is a lion. Notice how he has this lion. He's become one with it. The lion is the representation of our inner self, our inner, I don't know. I wanted to say demon, but no, that's not the right word. Because truly, it is when we get to know our shadow as well as our light, then we can balance ourselves. And that's an important component. But what I'm really noticing is in your conscious position, you're also taming this lion. So this could be someone who had, let's say, similar strife as you, maybe even similar lives as you. Chances are you don't know it yet. But you may find out through this communication. And because the king is here, the king of swords, I feel like he is really representing the type of communication, truthful, has integrity. So, let's just call it like-minded energy. But let's also say this is someone who's going to have passion for you. And, I feel like one of the clues that our guides give us is like the energy of someone. So this is someone who I feel like would not hold back with the way that they feel. Like if they feel you and they want you, they would tell you. This is someone who also follows their passion. So chances are they also fell off the horse a few times, but got back up and got back on. Okay. So let's keep going. Hangman. Wow. You see the similarities? This is external. So we have someone who's also in the hangman's pose, so to speak. So we have someone who's also seeking spiritual wisdom on this earthly plane. They may be seeking their spiritual partner, which would be you. Wow. Okay. We have the Seven of Cups, and now what I'm looking at is your hopes and fears. And look at that, the Ace of Swords. Look at the beautiful roses climbing up it. It must be love. But the Seven of Cups before it, it's you making a decision. It means the ball's going to be put in your court. And I have to say, when I see the Seven of Pentacles, I feel like I know the type of day it's going to be. When you least expect it. There could be a million things going on that day. And who knows, either your phone rings or you receive a message or, oh, I know what I was telling you. When I talk about like being at the right place at the right time, I was telling you when I go to work, when I used to go to work, when I had to leave the house, I'd stop at Dunkin' Donuts every morning for my coffee and like a sandwich or something. But so you go to the same place every single morning. And then one morning, for whatever reason, you feel called to go across the highway to Starbucks. And I'm just using them as example, by the way. So you do. You listen. You feel guided. You may not even know why. You may even say to yourself, like, why am I doing this? And then all of a sudden, there'll be someone in line that you strike up a conversation with. Some of you may know who this person is, and some of you may not. You may just be meeting them. But I love the Ace of Swords because if your fear was someone telling you lies, this again is representing the truth. Your truth, their truth, the truth. And then you making that decision. We started with you receiving the cup. You hadn't accepted it yet. And here, you're really still deciding. But it is coming over the Knight of Wands. So you won't help but feel the passion. It will just be part of it. It's interesting how I pointed out the butterflies. Because some of you may feel butterflies, like butterflies in your stomach. It's a different type of fear. Remember that. Like, fear has different names. And this fear is more about, like, the holy shit, it actually happened. Oh my God, what do I do? What do I do? Well, if you feel you're ready, then I would say take a chance. Everything here, especially because guardian angel energy and then temperance, divine energy, all ushering this in for you. At the right time. All right, let's look at the Hermit. And then we will let it be. And we get the Hierophant, which I have to say, I do love. Why? There's a few different reasons. First of all, it's card of Taurus. You're opposite. And Lord knows, I don't know how many years I've been saying, like, and I never say this with any other signs, but I say it with you all the time. Like, I could see you and Taurus together. I feel like you would balance each other out beautifully. But now we're going to forget about that. Because this is really asking you, or I feel like you already have. I feel like what you've told divine, let's say, your guides, or just what you pray, is that whoever comes in, that they be morally aligned. Doesn't have to mean that their belief system is exactly like yours, because part of love is learning from each other, especially this type of love. Like, this isn't free will. This is soulmate. twin flame, or past life love. And it may be all of that. So, wanting someone who has similar matching morals, someone who does have faith. And I'm not talking about religion, though for some of you that may be important. But I also want to say keep your mind open. You know what I mean? Because, like, you could be Catholic and someone comes in who's Jewish. It is a 5, so it does talk about change. And it's coming over a 9. Final reflection. And 2025. And then the change into 2026. So, do I feel like they'll be morally aligned? I do. Do I feel like all of this is being guided because of, well, again, I'm going to use the word shadow work? I do. Do I feel like there's a need that you be grounded? I do. And it doesn't mean, when I say that, like, I don't want you to think like, oh, like I can't have any fear of love, or that's just natural. That's natural. And your guides know that. Like, we were born human, which means we were born imperfect. And if we're searching for someone who's perfect, well, or someone tells you, I'm perfect, well, then they're not. Because someone who has a true spiritual awakening knows that, right? There's no one who's perfect. We were born this way. But we were also born with certain gifts. Like our intuition is our GPS to use in this lifetime. The sword of justice to use anytime something is unbalanced. Transformation, and the importance of that. Could you imagine if we never ever closed a chapter? That means that we would carry the pain, the unlearned lesson for the rest of our lives. No, thank you. So, I feel like just taking one more over the Hierophant. I don't know why, but I'm just going to follow. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this came in reverse, but then I looked at my deck and the whole deck is in reverse, so it's in the upright, and I felt it in the upright, but holy shit. Unexpected cup of fulfillment. And again, coming through a night, and we know, at least at this table, that every night is going to complete their mission, come hell or high water. Wow. You can't really plan for what you don't expect. But what if we just expect that at the right time, the right person, or fulfillment? I keep saying love, but I don't want to take away the way you're going to feel. This cup, no matter what it may be, it is meant to give you fulfillment. And this night, it is the Knight of Pentacles. It's to give you the way. And when this Knight of Pentacles brings in that seed, and because there's two hangmans, where else? There's other similarities. But what was I going to say? Oh, this seed. It can be two different things. What I would tell you is what this reading feels like to me is emotional fulfillment. So I did this reading because I felt, well, I have to tell you, I asked my guides. And I thought of you, and then I thought, boy, I'm always doing special readings for Scorpio. And I get nervous that you guys think I do it because I have a Scorpio daughter. I don't do it for that reason. I promise you. I literally asked my guides, who needs a little help right now? And what I heard was Scorpio. Scorpio. They feel exhausted spiritually, and some of you physically. And some of you, what you're learning is to let go of the weight of others and only carry what you choose to carry. This love for some of you, and probably a lot of you, there's nothing here you need to control. And I feel like that's the main message. Like this Knight of Pentacles says, I come at the right time. And that's a promise. And what I bring you, number one, it means something is coming into your physical world. It's tangible. It's touchable. For some of you, it's kissable. And I feel like this other person, let's just say your future love, they are seeking, and maybe that is part of it also. They are seeking what I feel. You know what I feel? I feel that many are not interested in dating. Now, sometimes you do have to go on dates, right? We have to understand that sometimes we have to kiss a lot of frogs before we ultimately find our prince or princess, our king or queen. And many times it's so we know what we do not want. And Scorpio, you, if you, if you get rid of the external noise, you are such an intuitive sign, truly psychic. Many of you are psychic, and it doesn't mean that you have to use that like in a living unless you choose. But you'd be very good at it. I already know that. So what I feel like I'm trying to say is the more you trust within your own energy, the more you can trust in what's coming towards you because you can read energy. You're putting the worry down. I love that. You've taken a good hard look at yourself. And that is what the Hermit's representing. Everything you've learned along the way. You are a wise old soul. You carry wisdom beyond measure. And for some of you, that is the gift that's opening. That is the power that you are now receiving, because this is what the reading was about. Power that is activating. But I feel like it's like the Ace of Wands, right? It's in reverse right now. But it's like something is stirring within you, and that's going to turn this ace around. And this passion, it's not just for love. It's for your life. Doesn't mean everything is going perfectly fine in my life. There could be things, again, if it's outside of your control, don't let it burden you. Don't let it weigh you down. Don't try to control what you cannot control. Let divine do that. And I'm putting that ace in the up right now. So, wow. I'm going to let that be, but holy cow. Holy cow. You know, this is why I love doing tarot so much, because I get just as excited. I get excited for you. But as your soul sister. All right, I'm going to let that be. I'm going to let it be. I love you guys. I thank you. Um, some of you may want to look, or if you haven't watched that past life reading, I'll try to remember to connect it on the end screen, because I feel like some of you, you're going to relate to it. And it really spoke about love that was coming in the current life, but was connected also to the past life. And I get this sense. Well, I can tell you this. For those who this is relating to love, past lives, yes, because you're soul connected. And that means for eternity. And listen, soulmates, you know each other for eternity, right? We're all soulmates. And we've known each other. And we will meet again. But what I'm trying to say is, I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's like I need to stop talking in between. Well, the bottom line is, what the point I was trying to make is, some lifetimes soulmates make predestined plans to connect in a lifetime. But remember, we're all born with amnesia. So part of the adventure for the soul is, can we find each other again? Can we find each other again? Will we recognize each other? And I feel like the feeling may feel completely different, because I feel like you probably haven't experienced this. But bottom line, a shadow that feels like it's been following you is being lifted. You had a lot to do with that. So if nobody else is patting you on the back, your guides are. But don't forget to pat yourself on the back. It's all starting with you. But then, I don't feel like you're alone by the time we leave the reading. Okay, I'm still talking. I love you guys. I thank you. I hope this helps for those who really need it. And, I just trust that it'll find the right people at the right time. When you need it, it'll find you. I love you. I'll see you next time at our table. Bye bye.